Oops surprises husband with favorite home-cooked meal. My husband is going to be either pleasantly or unpleasantly surprised when he gets home, October 2nd, 2022 at 5:30 p.m. I'm not the best at keeping secrets, so it's killing me inside and I wanted to let it out somewhere. So here I am. Yesterday, I overheard my husband talking to his friend over the phone about how much he missed his mother's homemade meals. We're both Indian first-generation Americans. Since we got married a little over a year ago and moved in together, we've mainly been cooking easy-to-make meals. We split the cooking 50-50 and keep our meals as healthy as possible while trying out different stuff, but we barely dipped our toes in our own culture's cuisine. There aren't any Indian grocery stores near us, so it's hard to find certain key ingredients, but we figured it was no big deal and gave up on the idea. I had no problem with it, but I didn't know how much he was craving my MIL's food until yesterday. Both of our families live in another state, so it's just us two, so I decided to call up my MIL last night to ask her for the recipe of my husband's favorite dish. Once I wrote down everything I needed, I tried looking for the nearest Indian grocery store. 2 hours away, yikes. However, I was in too deep to go back at that point, so I woke up at 5 a.m. today, about 6 hours before we normally wake up on the weekends, and drove to the store to get everything I needed. I made sure to buy in bulk so we could continue to cook more of our favorite meals for a while. Once I got back at around 10:30, I made sure to check if he was still asleep before I brought the grocery bags in, and thankfully he was, so I hid the bags in an empty kitchen cabinet and acted as naturally as I could. Obviously I needed him out of the house, so I called up one of his close friends to ask if he could hang with him for a few hours, which he was glad to do. So now I'm home alone. I'm currently working on the recipe my MIL gave me, and I have been struggling a bit, but I'm trying my best. I really hope he loves it, or at least appreciates my efforts in the event that it doesn't turn out that great. Kind of nervous though. If this gets any attention, I'll post an update. Edit. I meant to say we are both second-generation Americans. Cold sweat smile. I get the two mixed up. IDKY. Edit 2. This got a lot more attention than I thought it would. 0. I frequented back here while I was cooking to upvote all the lovely comments, and it really eased my nerves, so thank you all so much. And thank you for the awards. We finished eating a few minutes ago and my hubby just hit the shower, so I'll have an update up soon. Update on surprising my husband with his favorite homemade meal, October 2nd, 2022 at 9:30 p.m. I had finished cooking and setting the table a mere 10 minutes before he got home, so I started cleaning up the kitchen as I waited. I had the pleasure of seeing his reaction as soon as he walked in, since there's a perfect view of the front door from the kitchen. He was instantly taken aback because the aroma of most Indian food is very much distinct. His eyes shot back and forth between me and the food for a few seconds before he asked what was going on. He's usually very calm and collected, so it was endearing seeing his emotions written all over his face. He reluctantly inched toward the food, and once the realization hit him that it was his mother's recipe, he wore an expression that I hadn't seen before. His voice cracked and it turned into a sob when he thanked me and embraced me in a bone-crushing hug. I'm still sore from it. He hasn't cried in front of me in months, so I was just as much, if not more, taken aback than he was. I was supposed to render him speechless, and there I was at a loss for words. I didn't expect him to react that way, in all honesty, and I found myself tearing up too. He had expressed that no one had ever gone out of their way to do something this thoughtful for him, and it made my heart all mushy. Anyway, after we both calmed down and sat down to eat, he could tell I was anxious about him trying it, so he reassured me that nothing could possibly ruin the night unless he gets food poisoning, but even then, he'd vomit his brains out with a smile on this face. His jokes always lighten up the mood, so I was grateful for that. And as it turned out, he enjoyed it. Albeit my cooking could never compare to my MIL's. He called her up and expressed how happy he was that he got a taste of home after so long. He's been in such a good mood since then, and it really puts a smile on my face. I have never really gone out of my way to do something this extreme for anyone before, but I didn't even give it a second thought, nor did I for a second regret the 4-hour drive. Even with these gas prices right now, I'm just happy he loved the dish, and as many of you said, even if it hadn't turned out well, he would have still felt the same. I try my best to do nice things for him because he makes me the happiest wife ever. Also, for those curious as to what I made, it was halim and naan. He grew up eating it pretty often, and my MIL's food is to die for. I wish I had taken a picture, but my phone had died by the time I was done cooking. Probably because I kept hopping on here lol. And my husband was too eager to dive in to even think of taking a picture of the food. To me, that just made the moment even more special. Edit. So it's come to my attention that many TikToks have been made of my post? That's insane. I didn't know Reddit posts travel so quickly. Loudly crying. Edit 2. I feel guilty not being able to reply to the hordes of comments being sent my way, but I'm reading and upvoting every single one of them. I love being on the right side of Reddit. You're all great. A kind and helpful Mill? A supportive and grateful BF? This can't be Reddit. Seriously though, so cute. What a lovely wholesome post. Less than 3. So wholesome. This is my first day sorting here by new, and I'm glad I did. Except now I really want Indian food. Halim and naan. Listen. If I lived away from home and hadn't had traditional food in a long time and someone made me that, I would absolutely owe my life to them. Cooked right, it's one of the most delicious and filling meals. Although, the Indian version may be slightly different, maybe better, than the one we make where I'm from. I'd still love it so much though. Kudos to Oop. And the sweetness has me melting. Y'all, I'm Indian, and it is hard to cook dishes like this with little experience in cooking and get it right. I was totally blown away by her gesture for her husband. I better plan to do something really nice for my partner now. Now to Google the menu. I'm back and kinda hungry, drooling face. For those interested, halim, creamy meat stew, looks great for cold nights. Naan, bread that resembles small thick flour tortillas. Definitely some of Mom's good old homemade recipe vibes. I was waiting for the flip when she found out Mill changed the recipe to sabotage the meal and get her son leave her and move home. That is the type of story I am used to on this subreddit. So I was pleasantly shocked by the happy ending. For anyone in a similar situation, restores. Most large chains will carry most of the spices you need for Indian cooking, and many will also have an ethnic aisle. Source. I live in a 90% Wonder Bread community and I still find everything I need. Wheel, this is just delightful. After a series of disconcerting posts, this was a lovely departure. Is there a sub for wholesome stories like this? God damn. Who's chopping onions for Raita in this room? OMG, she made halim. That is a very hard first dish. Just finished my shopping list for the week. Fortunately, there's a Indian grocer just 10 minutes from my house. Yum. Wonderfully wholesome. And toothsome. Post. God bless this lack of mess. Woo, this is awesome! Exclamation mark. Unrelated, but it's kind of crazy how more and more Reddit stories are blowing up on other platforms. Like how and why? Tangential. But I'm glad Oop clarified the generation issue lol. I was going through the whole first post while thinking, isn't it second gen or 1.5 gen if their parents went over to the US? Quote. This is so cute. Not gonna lie, had happy tears reading this.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.